Chapter 61. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Live broadcast room, Pirate King Roger, Humph. Garp must be so happy, Kaido, ugh, this bastard must have dreamed of this day. Big Mom, what a pity it's a parallel world, Vice Admiral Garp, shut up. Don't disturb my interest. How can you be the same as Akiji, Admiral Akiji? Vice Admiral Tsuru, in the parallel world, are we going to keep Luffy in the headquarters, Sakazuki, Humph? Where else can such a talent go if not in the headquarters, Sachi, talent? It's really scary to hear this word from your mouth. Come in. Sengoku's voice came from the office. Creaky. Pushing the door open, Luffy strode in, wearing a navy justice coat, which immediately made Sengoku's eyes light up. I heard that you took the initiative to request to be transferred to the branch. Yes. Why? Zhang frowned. With your qualifications, you can definitely stay in the headquarters. With Luffy's qualifications, the headquarters is actually the best choice. Resources, systematic training, the latest weapons developed by the science department, and a powerful information database, are all existences that cannot be easily enjoyed in the branches. And the most important point is the difference in environment. There are many excellent Navy officers in the headquarters, so the competition is fierce, but the remote branches are different. The life of long-term superiority can easily wear down the fighting spirit. Many excellent Navy officers are buried in this way. Zhang doesn't understand Luffy's decision. Luffy said righteously, instead of staying in the headquarters and doing nothing, I prefer to do something with these hands. Doing nothing? Boy, you really dare to say that. Zhang's mouth twitched wildly. Okay, now that you've decided. Sengoku said helplessly, so, where do you want to go? Alabasta Kingdom. Alabasta? Sengoku raised his eyebrows when he heard this. That's where the 7 warlords of the king, Sea Sand Crocodile, lives. Why would you want to go there? Because I want to confirm one thing. Luffy said firmly, with a hint of doubt in his eyes. After leaving Rogue Town and arriving at Gemini, they ran into a group of agents who called themselves Baroque Works. The people in this organization aim to hunt pirates who have just set foot on the Grand Line. Of course, this is fine, and Luffy doesn't think it's a big deal. It's just, the girl named Miss Wednesday caught his attention. After arriving at the headquarters, Luffy looked up a lot of information about the Kingdom of Alabasta. Although the clothes and hairstyle were different, Luffy recognized at a glance that the agent Miss Wednesday was the princess of the Kingdom of Alabasta, Nefert Vivi. A princess of the kingdom actually turned into an agent of the Baroque organization. Walking out of the marshal's office, Luffy lifted the brim of his hat, looked at the sea in the distance, and smiled. Interesting, live broadcast room, Sachi, oh no, Crocodile, Luffy is going to beat you up again, Mogami Moria, he poor Crocodile. Katakuri, how miserable, Crocodile, damn straw hat boy, 3 months later. Alabasta Kingdom, Catlia. As expected of a country built in the desert, the wind and sand are so strong. Feeling the whistling wind in his ears, Luffy tightened his collar and walked towards the depths of the deserted city in front of him. Catalea, the headquarters of the rebel army of the Kingdom of Alabasta, this is why Luffy chose this place as his first stop. Once a country has a rebellious army, it means that the king is incompetent and the country is not far from being destroyed. If the king of Alabasta is really an incompetent guy, Luffy doesn't mind letting him see his methods. Just, Kosha. You have to believe in the king, he is really not that kind of person. Have you forgotten how good the previous king was? We have to believe in the king. Luffy frowned while eavesdropping secretly. Late at night. Who? In the darkness, the rebel leader Kosa had a sword pointed at his neck, and a voice came to his ear, what happened in this country? Tell me everything. Who are you? Kosa calmed down and asked. You don't need to know this. Just answer me. Yukosa was about to react, but the sword tip pressed deeper, as if it would pierce in the next moment. 3 years of drought, dancing powder, selfish king. After a while, Kosa told Luffy everything he knew. Actually, I don't believe the king can do such a thing, but the fact. Kosa said sadly. No. Listening to the other party's story, Luffy felt as if he had forgotten something. Rebels, the king, the princess of the kingdom who infiltrated the organization. Wait. Where is Baroque Works? Why didn't it show up? And, where are the 7 warlords of the sea? What is Crocodile doing? 7 warlords of the sea. Kosa was stunned for a moment, and said dryly, he is the guardian of the kingdom, and has been protecting the people from pirate invasions. TSK Luffy laughed out loud immediately. The pirates in the skin of the world government have become the guardian of the kingdom. Are you telling me a joke? At this moment, Luffy seemed to understand something. Baroque Works agent, Kingdom Princess, Crocodile, things are getting more and more interesting. In the dark night, Luffy's figure disappeared in the wind and sand. Live broadcast room, Thatch, ha ha ha. Guardian of the kingdom, Crocodile, you are quite good at flattering yourself, Katakuri, steal the country, why do these fancy things, Doflamingo, a plan full of loopholes. Sand Crocodile, shut up. Chapter 62. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Half a year later, Alabasta Kingdom, Whiskey Mountain. No. Don't. Bang. Vivi, who woke up from her dream, sat up instantly, subconsciously covered her mouth, and her beautiful eyes immediately looked around alertly. After a long time, her hands hung limply on the bed, and tears welled up in Vivi's eyes. Weakness and deep hatred appeared on her pretty face, which had always been resolute. She hated the cruelty and cunning of the king's 7 warlords, Crocodile. She also hated her own weakness, unable to do anything, and could only watch the other party's conspiracy succeed step by step. The father was framed, the people were deceived, and the uninformed Kosa was used as a pawn. The whole country will gradually collapse in Crocodile's hands. And she, as the princess of the Alabasta Kingdom, was completely powerless. Weiwei sobbed silently until, she finally realized something was wrong. Quiet, too quiet. It was so quiet that it was scary. The sound of the agents drinking and making noise late at night was not heard at all at this moment. She mustered up her courage and walked carefully to the door, listening attentively. What? You want me to report now? Smoker, I tell you, you are a colonel, I am also a colonel, you can't order me around. Humph. When I solve the problem of the kingdom of Alabasta, won't I be a colonel? Baroque Works knows about this, right? I seriously suspect that the leader of this organization is Crocodile. Why do you think so? Luffy pouted, don't you think the 2 names are very similar? Anyway, I'm sure it's him. What a bullshit guardian of the kingdom, it's just a joke. Smoker on the other end of the phone was silent, obviously thinking that Luffy was right, and after a while he said, be careful, I'll be there soon. Bye. After hanging up the phone, Luffy looked at the half-open door not far away with a smile, come out. The shadow behind the door was motionless. Do I have to come and invite you in person? Princess of Alabasta, Nefert Vivi. Crackle. Vivi carefully poked out half of her head. After just one glance, she opened her eyes wide, her lips slightly parted, unable to speak. A strong smell of blood came to her face. The bodies of the densely packed Baroque agents were lying on the ground in a twisted manner. They died miserably, all killed by a sword. And on the roof, a man in a Navy justice coat was holding a blood-red long sword and looking at her with a curved lip. Who are you? Vivi asked carefully. Monkey D. Luffy. A Navy. Did you kill all these people? Obviously. How do you know I am? Vivi hesitated. None of this matters. Bang. Luffy leaped up and jumped in front of Vivi. Tell me everything you know. As for this country, you can rest assured from now on. Because I'm here. Bang! After hearing Luffy's words, Vivi relaxed and fell straight down. Luffy? Should I have helped her just now? Pirate King Roger, ha ha ha, little Luffy made me laugh to death. Sachi, obviously, the parallel Luffy is not as good as the Luffy in our world. Princess Vivi. Straw Hat Luffy, great, it seems that the parallel world me will also save Vivi. Chopper, ah that's right, 0.9 billion ivory, I think Crocodile should be trembling now. Mariah, chee hee hee, I want to see the scene of Straw Hat beating Crocodile. 3 months later, Alabasta, Rainy Land. The Dream City in the Kingdom, the headquarters of the 7 warlords of the sea, Crocodile, the only capital city not affected by drought and civil strife, and the largest casino rain banquet is here. Actually, you don't have to follow. Luffy couldn't bear to see Vivi gritting her teeth and insisting behind him. No. I want to see Crocodile being caught with my own eyes. Okay. Luffy was helpless with this stubborn princess. A moment. Casino night banquet. As soon as he entered the door, Luffy shouted, "Where is Crocodile? Tell him to get out." What? Asshole. How dare you come here to make trouble? Do you know where this place is? Kill him. Boom boom, the terrifying domineering color burst out from Luffy's body in an instant, and all the agents of Baroque Works fell to the ground and fainted. A bunch of chickens and dogs. Navy. Nefert Vivi. Suddenly, accompanied by the collapse of the entire casino, a cold and murderous voice sounded behind him. Ding! In an instant, the sound of swords suddenly rose, and Lao Sha, who was about to stretch out his big hand to grab Vivi, was shocked and quickly retreated. Boom! The huge sword mark slashed at the place where he had just landed, which was very terrifying. Are you Crocodile, the leader of Baroque Works? Lao Sha did not answer, but stared at Luffy angrily. Navy Monkey D. Luffy, I now officially issue a wanted order for you. Ridiculous. Crocodile sneered disdainfully, and his body instantly turned into yellow sand all over the sky, blowing towards Luffy. Really? Armament hockey covered his right arm and the sword. Luffy stepped forward and slashed at the wind and sand with one sword. Suddenly, blood spurted out, and Crocodile's body hit the wall heavily. Luffy smiled contemptuously, that's all. Asshole. Desert Great Sword. Crocodile was completely enraged. Bang! The great sword condensed from the yellow sand burst out from the ground at an extremely fast speed and slashed towards Luffy. Too weak, are you really one of the 7 warlords of the sea? Shaking his head, Luffy casually dispelled the yellow sand with a sword. You have already lost your fighting spirit after being defeated by Whitebeard. Otherwise, you would not have recognized the identity given by the world government and come to Alabasta to steal the country. As he spoke, Luffy appeared on Crocodile's head in an instant, stepped hard on his hands, and dropped his sword straight down, ready to kill him in an instant. Bulu Bulu. Suddenly, the Den Den Mushi in Luffy's arms rang, and he took it out and saw a strange face. Hello. Are you Garp's grandson Monkey D. Luffy? An old voice came from the other end of the phone. Who are you? Luffy replied without any hesitation. Humph. You don't need to know who I am, release Crocodile immediately. Luffy frowned, looked at the old face on the Den Den Mushi carefully, and suddenly laughed. Excuse me, is this an order from the world government? Do what you should do, Navy. The old man on the phone threatened. Hee Lao Sha, who also heard the voice, laughed grimly. Childish brat, for their so-called face, you can't kill me. No. How is this possible? No. It shouldn't be like this. Vivi's expression collapsed at this moment. Even the world government is deliberately covering up. Save, who will save this country? Puff. The long sword fell heavily, and blood splattered all of a sudden. "Hey old man, what did you say just now?" Luffy said disdainfully, picking his nose. "Asshole. You actually dared." Snap. Luffy hung up the phone mercilessly. Ridiculous. Note, thank you for the gifts from all the parents who feed and clothe you. Thank you very much. Chapter 68. You are listening at NaVoFull.audio. Whale Fall. At the moment when Luffy was surrounded by the white line of the huge waves, the sound of the sword rose to the sky, and the dense sword energy slashes exploded instantly. Swish! In the gap, the dazzling sword light flashed out, venting the terrifying sword force crazily. Trapped beasts are just fighting. Mingo sneered, waved his hand, and several more giant lines were wrapped around. Thousands of arrows pierced the heart featherstrike line. In an instant, thousands of silk threads wrapped in armed colors formed the shape of flamingo wings, surrounding Luffy and about to stab him. Goo! The long whale cry resounded through the world, and the giant whale formed by the gathering of sword energy soared into the sky, but at that moment, it suddenly fell. Boom! Thousands of silk threads wrapped in armed colors broke and scattered in an instant, scattered all over the ground. The sword shadow came, Luffy held the sword in one hand, his body changed quickly, and when he was close, he slashed with a sword. Shield white line. Minga's heart sank, and the giant line blocked Luffy's sword skills like a barrier. Then, Minga flew into the air, and the ground under his feet turned into silk threads, condensed, and merged into 16 huge waves of purple lines wrapped with high-density armed colors. At the moment when Luffy broke the shield white line, they all rushed up. 16 sacred bullets, God's killing. Puff, arms, calves, waist. Luffy, who had no time to dodge, was struck by lightning, and the moment blood splashed, he flew backwards. Seeing this, Minga was overjoyed and shouted, "He, this is what happens when you anger me. You are just a navy. You dare to challenge me who has the blood of Jigao. After I kill you, you bastard, and then catch Nico Robin, he, all the secrets will be obtained by me." There was a smug look in Minga's red flamingo glasses. He laughed arrogantly and wantonly. He had already regarded Luffy as a dead man. Really? Luffy's voice came from the ruins. Boom! Without any hesitation, 16 murderous bullets fell again. But in an instant, it turned into flying ash and disappeared without a trace. "I forgot to tell you." Crack, shattering the stone on his body, Luffy stood up and chuckled, "Swordsmanship is just a toy in my spare time." Wow! The red armed color covers his arms, and the amazing momentum completely reaches the peak. Fists. They are my strongest weapon. Live broadcast room, Pirate King Roger, "Come on, little Luffy, Pluto Rayleigh, can you stop being so childish, Straw Hat Luffy, ha ha ha. In the parallel world, I will definitely beat him up. Sachi, where is Doflamingo? Why don't you talk, Dressrosa, ding." The sword light flashed, and the staff knife filled with infinite gravity slammed into the line shot by Minga. With a bang, Minga and the staff knife were smashed into a huge pit. Using force to coerce the king, causing the royal family to lose the support of the people, killing and setting fires, and turning the people into toys, Isha walked towards Mingo step by step, recounting the crimes committed by the other party in a deep voice. Colluding with pirates, brainwashing the people, and killing all those who oppose. This is the 7 warlords of the sea under the world government. This is Don Quixote. Today, the cane and sword were raised high. I will take your life, bang. The moment the cane and sword fell, a terrifying wave of air rushed into the sky. He, it's so ugly, Doflamingo. Under the cane and sword, an arm held the blade tightly and saved Mingo. The live broadcast is still continuing. He, is that so? Just pretending. However, as soon as Mingo finished speaking, Luffy's figure disappeared in front of him, and the next second, an extremely heavy force hit his back. Bang! Mingu was shot out like an arrow from a bow. Boom! Then, Luffy, who was wrapped in red armament haki, floated in the air and aimed at Mingu on the ground. Fist shadows slammed down from the sky, one after another, like a violent storm, all hitting Mingu. Puff, dot, big mouthfuls of blood spurted out. Mingu wanted to swing out the silk thread to resist, but it was instantly shattered by the fist shadow. Just as he was about to resist, he was punched into the ground again. Damn it! Mingu roared angrily, turning the entire land under his feet into a shield line to resist. Crack! The shield line collapsed, and the fist shadow fell again. Mingu was beaten without any ability to fight back. Colluding with pirates, persecuting the royal family, stealing Dressrosa, burning, killing and looting. Your sin will never be forgiven. Luffy raised his fist high, black and red thunderbolts surrounded his huge fist, exuding an unparalleled aura. It fell down with a bang. Bang! The whole Mogu town trembled, and dense cracks opened up around Minga like a spider web. But, when the smoke and dust cleared, a man in a white suit and a black mask appeared in the center of the spider web. Under his feet was Doflamingo, who was dying. Luffy narrowed his eyes and looked at this person carefully. The last blow would definitely kill Minga, but at the critical moment, this person saved Doflamingo. Looking at the way the man was dressed, Luffy couldn't help but feel a sense of foreboding. Navy Monkey D. Luffy. The man spoke coldly, as if he was superior. By order of the 5 elders, you are ordered to set off for the Holy Land of Marihoa immediately. The secret organization of the world government, CP0. Luffy raised his eyebrows and said disdainfully, why stop me? Doflamingo can't die now. Reason. You don't need to know. Really? Luffy glanced at the other party, what if I insist on his death? CP0 agent also sneered, then I don't mind fighting with you. Just you. Bang! As soon as the voice fell, Luffy's giant fist fell again. Pirates. Those who have committed many evil deeds. They deserve to die. The Shichibukai are no exception. I mean what I say. Even the world government can't stop me. Chapter 69. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Bang! The CP0 agent saw that the situation was not good, and he backhanded a punch from bottom to top to block Luffy's fist. A terrifying explosion sounded, and the CP0 agent, whose body was crackling, showed a fierce look on his face. His hair began to grow wildly, and then his face, limbs, and body shape all changed drastically, and he completely fell into a half-beast state. Animal-type fruit. Luffy frowned and punched down again. So what if he is CP0, he will die anyway. Roar! The agent roared to the sky, stepped on the moon step, soared into the air, came to Luffy's side, and punched. Bang! The moment the two fists collided, countless ripples instantly spread out from the surroundings of the two people's bodies. Openly defy government orders, Navy. Do you want to betray the government? I only have justice in my heart. The world government is justice. The agent said angrily. Sorry, you don't have the final say. Luffy, whose body was constantly moving, retracted his fist and kicked the opponent's chest with a whip kick, then quickly bent down to avoid the oncoming fist, and in an instant he came to the top of his head, his right arm continued to stretch backwards, and punched the opponent's head with red-armed color domineering. Boom! CP0 agent fell down and fell heavily on the ground beside Minga. Asshole! The agent roared angrily. CP0, is it great? The agent's face suddenly changed, and he punched behind him, but there was only a bang, and his fist was held tightly by Luffy. The strongest intelligence agency of the world government is just like this. The secret organization agents who obey the world's nobles, the celestial dragons, are all executioners with blood on their hands. You who have always regarded the people as untouchables and ants, have you ever thought that this day would come? Damn it! The agent was about to resist, but snap. His bones shattered and his left hand was twisted off by Luffy. Kneel down. Luffy shouted and stepped on the other's head. Bang! A powerful force came and the agent's head was stepped on by Luffy. How could it be? You. Why are you so strong? Blood gushed out of his mouth, and the CP0 agent stared at Luffy and fell into deep despair. Just a teenager, but he could defeat himself who has experienced hundreds of battles. This is absolutely impossible. You can't beat me, which can only prove one thing. Puff, the agent's head was stepped on and exploded. That means I'm much more hardworking than you think. While the wind whistled and blew Luffy's shirt, revealing a large area of scarred chest. In terms of talent, Luffy never thought he was excellent. But in terms of hard work, he who has experienced hardships since childhood, is not inferior to anyone. Live broadcast room, Sakazuki, well done, this is the real Navy, this is the real justice. Marshal Sengoku, shut up now. Pirate King Roger, good job, Luffy. Pluto Rayleigh, haha, so what if you have talent, there is no shortage of geniuses on the sea. Sachi, ha ha ha, this is the CP0 agent. That's it. Killed like a dog by little Luffy. Marco, the second Shichibukai killed by parallel Luffy has appeared. Katakuri, where is Doflamingo? Come out and say something. Dressrosa. He exhaled a long breath, looked at the newcomer with turbid eyes, and smiled with a hint of coldness at the corners of his mouth. I thought it was a fair duel. It seems that I am naive. Humph. The man sneered, leave here, I can pretend that nothing happened. I hope you are a smart man, the future admiral of the navy, Fujitora. Smart man? Ishiao laughed and said, what a sarcastic word. What do you mean? Since it doesn't make sense. Ishiao shook his head and smiled bitterly, a sense of sadness came to him, then all stay. Boom! Outside the sky, a huge meteorite swooped down at a very fast speed like a rising fireball, Navy headquarters. Magellan is missing, and Impel Down is in complete chaos. The culprit should be Buggy the Clown without a doubt. Sengoku looked at the three admirals, who's going? Humph. Me. Akainu snorted and took the brunt of it. Oh, Buggy the Clown is so scary. Kizaru pouted and his body unconsciously stepped back. I'll go too. At this time, Akiji said, Buggy the Clown is not a concern, but we need to push into the city. Once all the criminals escape, the consequences will be disastrous. Vice Admiral Tsuru analyzed, I suggest that all three of them go, because Ace the Fire Fist is also in Impel Down, and the Whitebeard pirates are likely to go directly to Impel Down after receiving the news. As soon as this was said, a group of senior naval generals changed their expressions, is the future battlefield. On the top, going to be advanced. The battlefield will also be transferred from Marineford to the undersea prison. The live broadcast is still continuing. Let's go. Luffy said speechlessly after finding Robin huddled in the corner. You won. Yeah. Where's Doflamingo? Dead. Where's the CP0 agent after that? He went with Doflamingo. Sugoi. At this moment, Robin was stunned and looked at Luffy in disbelief. Can you tell me your secret now? Hearing this, Robin was stunned, then chuckled and said, no Navy mister. Huh? Luffy was puzzled, why? Do you still doubt my strength? Putting her slender fingers in front of her lips and shaking them slightly, Robin smiled without saying a word, shaking her long hair, and strode towards the port, leaving Luffy far behind, as if she was avoiding something. Luffy. This woman, isn't she relying on me? Half a month later, because their ship was destroyed by Doflamingo, they decided to go to Water City together to repair the ship. On the deck, Robin and Luffy sat opposite each other, talking about something. This is everything I know about the ancient weapon Pluto. What about other secrets? Luffy frowned, didn't we agree to be honest? To be honest, Luffy doesn't really care about the ancient weapon Pluto. He only believes in his fists. Be honest? Robin exclaimed and shrank back, looking at Luffy warily. What are you going to do? Here it comes again, every time she talks about this topic, she will make a joke about it. Humph. Forget it. Luffy rolled his eyes and continued to practice day after day. Robin sat quietly on the side, holding her cheek with her fingers, looking at the other party with a smile, her eyes meaningful. In fact, Luffy could feel that although Robin acted the same as usual during this period, she was extremely afraid of something in her heart. She was afraid, terrified, and worried that she was just like those people in the world government, who were using her, and once they knew the secret, they would ruthlessly abandon her. So Luffy, who understood Robin's mind, never forced her and let her make jokes. Opportunity. Chapter 70. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Water City. By Robin waved and left with a smile. Luffy, who was about to ask the other party to buy supplies, was stunned for 2 seconds. Have you become so accustomed to it? Shaking his head, Luffy went to the dock company to find a shipwright to repair the ship. On the street, Robin was holding a large meal and preparing to go back. There was a slight smile on her delicate face, and she looked very happy. She really liked this comfortable life more and more. She didn't have to worry about the pursuit of the world government all day long, and she didn't have to worry about whether she would be exposed. It doesn't matter even if she is exposed, because the Navy will protect her. Wow! When they passed by, Robin was stunned, her pupils widened unconsciously, and her body shook violently uncontrollably. A piece of paper quietly fell into her palm. Do you think you'll be safe if you stay with that Marine? There's only one outcome for defying the world government. Boom! My heart suddenly sank. It's them. It must be them. Robin murmured unconsciously, hugging her arms and trembling, they found me. At this moment, Robin's peaceful life, which she thought was peaceful, disappeared like a bubble under these 2 short lines of words. Water City Square. Why are you here? Luffy asked puzzledly, picking his nose and looking at the person in front of him. You are colluding with Nico Robin, the son of the devil. Do you know the consequences? Robin? Luffy tilted his head, what consequences? Is the world government going to put me on the wanted list? In just half a year, 2 Shichibukai have died in your hands. The Navy is also in a difficult situation. So, are you here to take me back? Kiji exhaled a breath of cold air. Although I am usually taken care of by Mr. Garp, it is the Marshal's order after all, and I can't disobey it. Bang! As soon as the voice fell, Akiji moved, his body flashed to Luffy's side, and his right hand turned into ice and pressed hard on the other's shoulder. Crack, crack, crack. For a moment, the ice that exuded cold air instantly swept Luffy's body. Boom! The domineering color burst out from his body, shattering the ice. Luffy pulled out the long sword from his waist and slashed down with a slash. Ice shield. Akiji said lightly, and 2 round shields made of ice blocked in front of him, and they broke together with the slash. Crackling, the 2 of them immediately fought in a group, punching and kicking, and the sound of explosions continued to ring out, fighting fiercely. Ha! Luffy slashed down with a sword, and the moment he was blocked by Akiji, his left fist kept stretching back, and then blasted out in an instant. Crack! The ice shield was shattered by the fist and hit Akiji's waist, but it immediately broke into ice cubes and scattered all over the ground. I find that you people seem to like to clone. As he said, Luffy slashed behind him with a sword, but was suddenly grabbed by Akiji's wrist and thrown to the sky. Frozen thorns. 2 spears condensed from ice rushed towards Luffy instantly. Ting! Luffy jumped high with his sword in his hand, and the terrifying Overlord color thunderbolt surrounded the sword. Godfall. Boom! A huge black and red slash fell from the sky in an instant. Akiji waved his hand, and the ice wall rose from the ground. At the same time, he stretched out both hands and shouted forward. Hualala, ice chips fell all over the sky on the two people. Ah, you've had enough fun. Akiji said unhappily. Humph. Luffy took back his sword unhappily, obviously not intending to continue fighting. Are you here to find Robin? Yes. Akiji nodded, but it's not necessary now. Because of me? Yes. Akiji turned and left, waving at Luffy. Remember to take good care of her. Don't see her. Akiji didn't reply, and his figure gradually disappeared in the crowd. The world government was planning to arrest Luffy, but was rejected by Sengoku. Akiji couldn't stand Sengoku's nagging all day, and heard that Nico Robin was with Luffy recently, so he simply left the headquarters and came to the Water City. Fighting with Luffy, just to see if this kid's strength has improved recently. Water City. Late at night, tavern. It seems that he ran away again. A woman said disdainfully in the dark. No, she's a smart person and knows the price of running away. Humph. Someone sneered, that's not necessarily true. That person killed 2 Shichibukai in succession. People, do you think they will take our threats to heart? Just the 7 warlords of the sea. But killing you is enough. Enough. At this time, the leading man said coldly, there will be someone to deal with that navy, you don't have to worry about this. Who? Someone asked. Admiral Akiji. What? The admiral is here too? For a moment, everyone was shocked. Humph. You caused such a big mess and disobeyed the government's orders, so what about the navy headquarters? Creaky, the door of the tavern was slowly pushed open from the outside, and a beautiful figure bathed in darkness walked in. I was right, you are indeed a smart man. In the candlelight, a tall man slowly walked over, wearing a black suit and with a stern face. He was the de facto leader of CP9, Rob Lucci. Behind him were the members of the secret organization CP9 of the world government. Really? Robin looked around with a sharp gaze and asked, how did you find me? Are you questioning our work? Kaku stepped forward and said coldly. Work? Shipwright? That's really ridiculous. Hearing this, the agents looked cold. Don't think about trying to anger us. Nico Robin, you should know your situation. What situation? Robin curled his lips, looked at everyone and sneered, arrest me? Aren't you afraid that Mr. Navy will be angry? Humph. Navy? Lucci looked down on him, clenched his fist and said contemptuously, let's not talk about the fact that he has been captured by Akiji and taken back to the Navy headquarters. Even if he is here now, what can he do? Bang! As soon as the voice fell, the ceiling above everyone's head instantly collapsed, and a black shadow fell from the sky and hit Lucci's head hard. Ah lie. What did you say just now? Luffy stepped on Lucci's head and scratched his ears in confusion. Hey, Mr. Navy is here. Robin tilted his head, his eyebrows and eyes were in a line.